Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Feargiveness Frequency. I am Julie Schindler, your host today. And today I was just really brought on to bring forth a really special connection of connection to color through consciousness. When I was going through the spoken word of the Feargiveness Frequency and really being asked by my guides and my team to tell my story of the spiritual parallel timelines of kind of, while I had this darkness and pain going on, I was also going through the spiritual awakening and really what did that look like. And after going through my own trash can for so many years now, every time you do, I realize now going back through it, you change the story. And when you get grateful and you change the narrative and you go back through all of your traumas and insecurities and everything else, your story changes and you are no longer a victim. You are a warrior and you have survived and thrived through it all. And as I was trying to figure out exactly how to bring that into this current reality that we're in, I was struggling. And I didn't want to go back through that pain in a sense. And what I found in going back through it and really reading back through what I'd spoken out loud was that this connection to color is truly the secret sauce in it all. And so there are so many reasons that we can stop us from showing up. And I just kept getting this message this week is to tell your story, tell your awakening story and connect it with color and to just show up. And there are moments throughout today that just didn't seem like it was going to work out. And I was just kept being told to show up as you are, to show up authentically. Don't try to make it perfect. I couldn't get my neck brace on today because of some recent travels, and I have a big upcoming event this weekend. So it was just all these little things that were pausing me to being like, oh, that's okay. I don't have to do this today. Oh, I could do this another day. And it really just, the spirit just kept saying, show up. No matter what it looks like. So I have my pillow here. I have my water here. I just finished my spinal drains. My voice will be kind of going in and out. My hands are starting to stop tingling a little bit. So here I am in all of this beautiful glory. And I want to connect with you and just show you how the secret sauce to this healing journey that I've been on for the last 4 years has really, truly narrowed it down for me to color and the conscious connection to color. And I was asking, like, how do I keep my vibration so high at all times? And it's not because I'm living in this high spiritual timeline. It's because I have day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, second by second, changed my subconscious mind, changed from the inside out to surround myself with color. And this journey started for me in the darkest depths of palliative care when I was writing my eulogy to save pain for my family. And I received this big, huge pop of color that came through that said, don't wait, tell them now. And I realized my eulogy was all gratitude. And then that's where that get came from, where I got grateful, and gratitude elevates truth. And so through that gratitude and putting that out there, more pops of color kept coming in. And it kept showing me this pathway out of pain. And I remember through my pain peaks at the very beginning, and as I went through my journey over the last 12 years of living horizontally, and from day one, and really did the day before the day our sky fell. And if I had asked myself, if I had knew what was coming, would I have been strong enough to say, okay, I can take this on. I can go through the pain of the cervical injury, the surgeries, all of the treatments, all of the trial meds, all of the process of that 8 years that it took to really come out of the other side of that, and that full darkness period of really signing a DNR, turning over my power of attorney, really shutting off the lights in a sense, until those pops of color started to come in. And in 2017, and for those of you who don't know or haven't been following this journey, a box fell in my head 12 years ago while I was working, and it crushed my cervical spine. And after reconstructive surgery, I have been living horizontally with small holes and tears throughout my cervical column that pour out of my spinal fluid every single day. And so my family has been my caregivers, and my children and my husband have been my godsends, sent to me to really keep me grounded throughout this whole experience. And at that 7 to 8 year mark, when that really the darkness was the strongest and I was on palliative care with no way out, these pops of color started to come through. And I remember my very first pain peak that I would go through these pain peaks 4 or 5 times a day, and they would be excruciating, and I would just fall into pain. And I decided to record a pain peak, and I listened to that pain peak back recently. And the pain peak was really not me. It was once I fell into the full pass out period. It was this beautiful kind of higher self guiding me through it. And so in the recording, it just says, you are in no pain at this moment. You have transitioned into this beautiful space where you're held and cared for and taken care of. And I remember waking up from multiple pain peaks prior to recording that, saying that you have to come back. And I didn't know what that meant. I just kept saying, you have to come back. I would wake up repeating over on my mind, you have to come back. And as I listened to it back, I was in tears again, going through it, feeling her pain and knowing how much she was suffering. But to know that I was divinely held and guided, even back in 2017, before I had essentially met my spirit guides or gone on any of this, leaned into any of this awakening that was happening around me, or really digging into these pops of color. And it showed me that the space I went was really dark and dreary. It was the space in my subconscious mind is really where I would be. And that it was foggy, and there was this numbness, though. There was no pain. And I remember that the more I would sink into that no pain and that just weightlessness of it, that I would want to stay there. But the longer I would stay there, the shallower my breath would get. And the longer I stayed there, the harder it was for me to come back. And that was that moment that I realized that is the same space I believe all of us go when we're trying to numb ourselves through addictions, through depression, through suicide. That space within our subconscious mind that just kind of takes us away from everything. We find those different avenues to numb ourselves, and some it's food, some it's alcohol or drugs or TV or porn addictions, sexual addictions, all of those spaces and places that we go to get away from the world so we don't have to deal with our own trash cans. And in this space, there was no color. And that was the biggest aha moment for me. And it was in those years prior, so from 2017 to 2020, that is when I would get these in and out moments. I was on palliative care. I was on high amounts of drugs, and if the drugs weren't working, I was using alcohol for pain management. We had also started using cannabis as well. I did forget a rag. Using cannabis as well for pain. And so I was in those in and out moments where I would find clarity, that's where these pops of colors would come through. And the biggest aha moment was when my father-in-law passed away in the end of 2017. And in his passing, he just never left me. It was so quick and sudden that we didn't have all the necessary paperwork that we needed to find everything. And he was a World War II vet. So everything was kind of booby trapped in the way that he lived his life. So it was because he never left me, he was able to guide me on these scavenger hunts to find everything. And he would give me clues and he would speak to me. And I would have my husband take me over to his house after he passed with my pillow. I would lay horizontal. I would receive the information from him. And then I would send the family on scavenger hunts when they would get there. And we were able to locate all of his precious items and important paperwork to really finalize his passing. And then once he was laid into the ground, in the few days after that, I was able to see his full release into the heavens. And I remember there being this golden bench outside of the gates of heaven that I could sit and talk with him before he finally went all the way through. But in his departure, I realized that I was surrounded by this beautiful team of spirit guides. And I was never alone. And it was a few months after that I had a heart attack and I was placed directly into palliative care. And that's when that few years cessation came of the darkness. And it was after those pops of color of the eulogy and getting grateful that I leaned into color. And I was still passing out and I was still going through these pain peaks. And I was in my subconscious mind that was dark and dreary. And so I started little simple things. I started drinking in the rainbow. And I knew that I was losing my ability to chew and swallow. I still drink 80% of my meals through a straw, and I just make it super colorful. But I learned that every song is a rhythm, and every rhythm is a repeat. And so if you put your rainbow on repeat, that is a way to always have color flowing into your life. And color holds a frequency and vibration of healing in all of its forms. And it holds sound healing that comes with color as well. So there was all of these aspects that the more I leaned into these pops of color that I was receiving from the divine and source, that I was starting to heal little by little, one day at a time. And that is where really this conscious color connection really came through. And everything for me comes through in color when I'm working with spirit guides or I'm working with different the angelic realms or different energies. It all comes through in color. So the simplest things that I did in the very beginning was drink in the rainbow. Made sure my sips were color, and then I really put a color to every single day. So Mondays love red, Tuesdays love yellow, and within the color spectrum, I also met the chakras and understood the energy centers of our body and how we have blockages in the energy centers. And the biggest aha for me is that pain is held in the body. I lived in chronic pain. My whole day was chronic pain, but pain can be held in the body, in our emotional body, our physical body, within our muscle memory, our cellular memory, within our spiritual. We have our own pain body. So when you looked at all of the ways that pain can show up, that's where I got curious, and that's where the Feargiveness frequency came in. When I connected to color and brought all those colors into my life in very simple ways. One of the most simple ways, my phone's running a Healy scan right now, so we'll see if I can show you. So the most simple ways of changing everything for me was to change the home screen on my phone to something that brought me joy. because that is the first thing that I saw throughout the day. So I wanted to make sure that my connection to color came in bringing it to me and through me the minute I would wake up. So I would wake up, I would see my phone screen. It was something that brought me joy. I would drink my sips of water. I hadn't found barefoot grounding by then. Barefoot grounding didn't come in until I think 2021, 2022. And I hadn't even, meditation wasn't even part of my realm. It was just, I wanted to feel something different than I was feeling. And I kept getting told that this time will be different. So as these pops of color would come through and I would lean into them, and I met my inner child, and I saw that my entire trash can on the inside was full of color, of rainbows and poems and poetry and writing and songs. And she loved to sing. She loved to play in the sandbox. She loved to build forts in the forest. When I got to connect with her and understand her journey, that was in 2019, 2018, these pillow talks started to come through. And that was all guided from my inner child wanting to voice to me and through me her experience and really bring my trash can to life. And so the biggest thing I received with this gift of this injury and of this last 12 years is time. I had all the time in the world. I was needed to be nowhere. I was just needed to be here for my family and myself. And it really allowed me to go within and understand that I didn't have any self-love practices. I didn't love myself, nor did I know how to. I knew that I had this trash can of traumas and insecurities that I'd carried my whole entire life. And at 17, me and my inner child had made a pact that nothing in that trash can was our fault, and we didn't know how to heal it. So we would heal when we could figure out how to heal it, we would come back to it. And that took us a really long time to get there. But once we did, and we were able to dump out all of our traumas and insecurities, and really find gratitude in those years that we were disassociated from it. Because those years of disassociation, I was able to be a mom and a wife without the baggage of my youth. Though I see now it was showing up in different ways and limiting beliefs and the things that I had this heart that was wide open. I was in, my career was in service and servant leadership. And I was open to give, but I just wasn't open to receive. And that was because I was completely shut off from it. And I would give from this, bottomless well, I thought, until towards the end of my 15-year career in the fashion industry, that well dried up and it started to crack and it started to corrode. And that was when I realized that I could give no more because I had nothing more to give, because I hadn't learned how to give back to myself. So when I left my career in the fashion industry for the search of joy, I took a year off with my family and I traveled the world. I started running, started being active. Our family did made a lot of healthy changes in our lifestyle. And I got into cooking and playing with spices, and just, it was so fun. And then it was a year later that I'd stepped into this new role, into a new career. And I was really had already saw my future. In just a few months, I would be international traveling. And it was everything that I had wanted for the next course of my career. And that was the third day on the job where the box fell and took that away. And that's okay. If you had asked me the day before if I could have handled it, I would have said, heck no, no way. And if you had asked me 8 years in if this was a blessing, absolutely not. But now we're 12 years out, and it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because in that I have been able to be here for my family for the past 12 years. I have been able to see beyond death and walk into this new life of possibilities when it comes to and having this forgiveness frequency that has been gifted to me from the higher realms. To really, my mission is to bring it down and make it understandable to this reality that we're currently in. And I feel like that is maybe the hardest thing to do, is because when you're up there in the higher realms and you're receiving these healings and you're in the Akashic records and you're working with these divine beings and you're helping with the planetary shifts and all the things that we can do from inside when we connect to our divine source, God and spirit, miracles happen. But this is just this world that's hard to bring down. And we're slowly merging those timelines and those gaps, but bringing what we receive up there and bringing it down to reality so it works for the masses and it helps others that are on a journey of discovery, of healing. That is where forgiveness has been put into action. And we have worked on the forgiveness frequency and had so many beings of light, earthly and beyond, bringing forth the energy needed within the forgiveness frequency. And this is a frequency that's available for everyone to tap into. It is when you embrace your fears in forgiveness, in self-love, in gratitude, and self-acceptance, where you take all of those high frequency vibrations of emotions and you put them into this infinity loop, because we are infinite beings having a human experience on this earth. And when you think, if you think and believe that you asked for, you created your soul blueprint before you got here, and you knew all the things you were going to experience, and you checked yes, and you were one of billions of beings who are vying for their spot here on earth, and you really are a chosen one. And all your job is to remember who you were, remember who you are. You find your center and live and expand that in love. Find that full connection back to oneness, which is in all of us, where we are all one in togetherness. And if that is that job from the very beginning, that's your mission here on life, and you had to go through all of these things to get there, knowing that you chose it, that was one of the parts, like, wait a second, I wouldn't have wanted the experiences from my childhood and what I've carried into adulthood. I chose that for me, but I realize now, going back through my trash can and realizing that each of those traumas and insecurities and the shame and blame and all of those emotions that we went through, all of those experiences we went through, have made us into the strength and given us the codes and keys to help another through that, through our journey. So when we go into our forgiveness frequency and we sit within the center and we bring in self-love, we bring in self-acceptance, we bring in self-forgiveness, and we fill it with gratitude. So we have all these high emotional frequencies, and we just have to sit in the center and allow that energy to flow through us. And then we also add color. And color is the secret sauce that I've realized by wearing color, by meditating on color, by drinking in the rainbow, putting your rainbow on repeat, surrounding yourselves with nature and flowers and plants and color. You are building up this frequency that there's a constant. And what I found within, no matter the flow and flux of our emotions, that frequency of color has been what has kept the frequency so consistent. And there are days, there are moments within, over the last 4 years, I've been able to transition out of palliative care, so off of opiates and all pain meds. I've also been able to drop uh, put my sips to sober. So all my sips are now sober, and they have been for the last 3 years. And then the third year of transition, I was able to get off all of my forever drugs. The drugs the doctors in Western medicine told me that I would need to have forever. And then there was the drugs on top of the drugs for the side effects from those drugs. And so over time, up until January of last year, of 2023, I was finally able to set the intention to release it all, to color chronic pain. And I will forever be in chronic pain, I believe. And even through all the healing journey that I've been on, there are aspects of this that I'm being shown are meant to be here. And there's not much more that I can do physically until I've transitioned into higher dimensions and higher realms, which I'm okay with. And I know that my spinal drain every day, clearing out my CFS fluid, is really part of the spiritual process. Our CFS fluid is a huge aspect of what helps us to transition into a crystalline diamond light bodies. So I'm okay with having this, and I'm shown maybe 3 years or so more. And these pass outs that I would have are now pain resets. And I recently found a photo that helped me to see. So I know I kind of flow in different spaces. So the biggest things were surrounding myself with color in every way possible. And I realized my house was not colorful at the time. I didn't own any plants, and that was another living aspect of healing. But that journey came through me following in the footsteps of my children and watching them go through their own journeys of healing and bringing in creativity and bringing in color and bringing in plants. And then I would just watch my daughter, and I just was so in awe of her and her ability to uh, stand up for her own mental health. And as she did that, she would bring in these new creative ways to see where she needs to flow. And whether that was through painting or colors, or she painted rocks that I still have everywhere around me. Some of the artwork that she made are still hanging on the walls. And then every few days, she would bring home another plant. And I had felt like I was a black thumb and that plants just did not want to survive around me my entire life. And then we started doing this together, and we started buying plants together, and our house is now filled with plants. And I'll use one whole day of ups just to water the plants, and I can feel when they need water and when they've been overwatered, or they just need a little extra love, or they need sunlight. I just have this beautiful connection with them that has been another way to bring color and consistent frequency and vibration. So it's really all about that. How do we keep our vibration high, still living in this reality that we're in, but really sheltering ourselves from all the things that do not bring us joy? And really understanding that while we go through our own trash cans and we dig and we upcycle and we change the narrative and we get grateful and we recolor our IMs, that we will, in that process, it's going to require us to go within. And that can be somewhat of a lonely journey. And that's why we have the Feargiveness Frequency here to help you. And we have the communities that are listed below. And I will put any more that didn't quite show up for ways that you can connect to these free communities of healing, of conscious connection to color, and a conscious connection to really igniting your own Feargiveness frequency. And I chose to do this live outside today. So the outside noise that's coming through is just really all part of the process to keep us ways to stay conscious and stay connected throughout it all. So a few other things that happened on the journey was I found meditation was very difficult for me. So in 2021, when I put my pillow in service, and really we'd gone through 2020, we had created the Feargiveness Frequency. And that was when I was losing my ability to chew and swallow. I was in need of a feeding tube. I was transitioning my care over from the care teams that I had had up to that 8 years. Our case was finally closed. We had been through 8 years of just excruciating torture. before our disability claim was completely closed with full pension. And I was transitioning over to my team of doctors and going through that whole list. And that was in March of 2020 when the world was shutting down. And so everything that they said I would need to go back through and do, and all of the pain meds I would need to be put on, and the pain regimens, and meeting a whole new palliative care team and pain management team. I just had this pop of color that really said, this time will be different and you can do this. And when the world shut down, all of those tests got canceled, all of those programs were canceled, everything changed. And I was kind of in this limbo. I had no set place to be. I had no new palliative care team. It was just, they were trying to piece together a whole new care plan for me. And I was told by my guides that this time will be different and that you got this. And we really started cold turkey and transitioned off of palliative care, off of the opiates, off of all the drugs, the main pain drugs. And that took about 6 months of transition for my body. And I knew that during that time, I was still in need of a feeding tube and I wasn't getting enough nutrients. So we started drinking in the rainbow. And I lived off of chia seeds and freeze dried powders. And that was the only thing I could get down through a straw. And then we started blending up the rainbow and I was able to drink that. And I lived off of soft foods, mashed potatoes and eggs and all of these little things, that these foods that didn't have a lot of liveliness to them, except for what I was getting through my sips. And so when we started to, in 2021, after we'd gone through 2020, we were finally clearing away the clutter. That was really when the Feargiveness frequency started to take off, and I had cleared away the clutter. So my subconscious mind was open to start healing. And every time we would bring in color, it would change my subconscious mind. So I wanted to show you let's see if I can find it. This is kind of what I believe I felt and saw of my subconscious mind before and after. Before, it really was this grayness, this numbness, this darkness, but there was nothingness and there was no pain when I was here. And this was a place where I would go 4 or 5 times a day in my pass outs to sit within this dark and dreary area. And as I started to bring in color and I started to connect with meditation and connect with my guides and lean into every pop of color, start those barefoot sunrises, drinking in the water, having all those sober sips, putting the rainbow on repeat, filling it with music and color and sound and nature and rainbows. Can't forget the rainbows. All of that changed. And little by little, day by day, minute by minute, life changed too. And I would get a little bit more ups each day. And they would be better ups. They would be clearer. I was living in the chronic pain, but I was coloring it. How did I feel today? Or what color did I want to feel today? And if it was red that Monday, I would go through my closet and I realized I didn't have much red. In the beginning, it was just socks that I had in color, and I would put on a new color each day of socks. So Mondays love red, Tuesdays love orange, yellows love Wednesday, Thursdays are green, Fridays are sky blue, serene blue, aqua blue. It kind of changes. The Saturdays are that indigo blue, and Sundays are the effervescent of the violet. And then I kind of felt like there's some days where it would be blue and sapphire or blue and white. There would be more colors that would come through. But it was doing those little simple things of even just changing the home screen on my phone, of bringing in affirmations. There's an app called I Am that you can purchase. I think it's a monthly purchase or a yearly purchase. But I just loaded that onto my phone, and at the beginning it was free. And so I would just read the IMs as they would pop up on my phone. And I had never been involved with affirmations at all. But little by little, saying, I am worthy, I am brave, I'm beautiful, those affirmations moved into mirror work. And then sitting in front of the mirror and having these conversations with myself eye to eye started to change that subconscious mind even more. And it was so beautiful to see that shift happening. And it took, I'm going to be real, it takes time. It's not something that happens overnight, but doing those little things. And I realized that color is that secret sauce, because when you have your emotions flying at a high vibration, so through self-love, self-forgiveness, this journey is about no one else but you, that you are here to forgive yourself for the time that you've held on to all of these traumas and insecurities and the shame and blame of everything that has ever happened to you that you've carried in your trash can of life. And when you go back to your trash can, the first thing we do, we ignite your forgiveness frequency. So we ignite all of those emotions of the high self-love, self-acceptance, gratitude, and self-forgiveness. And then when you do that, you will soon even raise even higher when you start to really truly live as your authentic self. Also, the authenticity has one of the highest vibrational frequencies. So through self-love and self-acceptance, you get to this space of even a higher frequency. But as you load these frequencies into your forgiveness journey and you sit within the center of your infinity loop, and we go through and we activate it. And what it is doing is that it's when the activation happens, it fills in all of the holes and tears that you have within your frequency that is currently letting out your soul blueprint energy and vibrations and frequencies, or allowing others to bring in their own belief systems and take away from your intrinsic value. So we clean up your frequency. We fill in those holes and tears using the vibrations and frequencies of color. And then we get to throw in anything that's meant for you. Maybe it's music, maybe it's barefoot walking, standing on nature, maybe it is growing plants for you. Whatever that is, you get to create your frequency and raise your vibration as you go forward. So you have your frequency going, you're sitting in the center, and that is when you really start to, you dump in your trash can into your frequency, and you sit there and you allow pieces of your life to flow through you. And when they do, and when you have that, it's your time to heal that. Then you have this beautiful process of the jam sessions where you get to work through the journey. We teach you how to journal, mirror work, affirmations. It's kind of the be jamming. So it's breath work and barefoot walking, journaling, affirmations, mirror work. The M&Ms grow from mirror work to meditation to muscle movement, music. Oh, I think there's a couple more. Oh, mindfulness. And so as you go through that, you step into the N, be jammin', which is nature. And the G is gratitude. So we teach you how to sit within your center first, ignite your forgiveness frequency, and teach you how to upcycle your trash can. So we all have a trash can of traumas and insecurities that we have carried throughout our entire lives. Some of us have a few of them, and that's okay too. This is the time now, especially in the energies and the timelines that we're currently living in, is to do the work, is to meet your inner child, is to go through the shadow process, to clear out your subconscious mind of any of the BS. I feel like it's cat litter when you're sifting through the cat litter, really trying to pull out any of those limiting belief systems that are currently in there that have been ingrained in you from childhood, from life experiences, and even gestational and ancestral. So there is so many ways, but when I was reading back through the spoken word, and this Feargiveness journey is in written form, and it hopefully will be coming out to the world next year. But and every day it's kind of like, oh, we need to add this and we need to add this and this story needs to be told. And I just go where I'm guided, and I get to bring forth this beautiful energy and frequency and lots of color. So as this journey begins for many of you, and we have already gone through like a first wave of beautiful hearts and souls and conscious leaders that have joined our teams to really start digging in their own leadership trash cans of leadership in life. We have a huge course that's coming out to the world in the last 8 weeks of summer. So it'll be starting that first week. We haven't decided the first week or second week of August, where it's going to be this Wednesday, the 7th. So right before the portal, I'm just being shared that Wednesday, the 7th, right before the 888 portal is in full flex. We will be beginning this journey, and it's an 8-week course. And I've combined 16 weeks into 8. So I'm taking you through 4 weeks of your personal forgiveness journey of digging in your trash can. And the last 4 weeks are for the conscious leadership. And the conscious leadership is not just for current leaders. It is for anyone who's entrepreneurially running a business, beginning a business, wanting to start a business, wanting to shift careers in any way, shape, or form. It is what is going to be the leadership frequency going forward. So we are co-creating the conscious leadership rise up that is happening over the next few years. And this is just the beginning. So Feargiveness is coming down to being brought down and trying to keep it in its purest form to allow us to have this available to anyone and everyone that connects with it. So when you are part of this journey and you join us, the course, the 8-week course, so it's a conscious connection course to Feargiveness frequency, is going to be for the last 8 weeks of summer. So it'll happen every single Wednesday at about this time frame. So we're trying to hold the space of this time frame by showing up here every week to give you, whether it's an energy update, a soul retrieval like today has been, a color of conscious connection, to really connect you to the energy of what is to come in this course that's going to be out in just a few weeks. I'm really super excited. It has all been divinely orchestrated and filled in from all of the realms and energy within the Feargiveness frequency to be really brought down in tangible form. And then all of those who have gone through this course already, that first wave of leaders, the first rainbow is going to be helping us to build on the double rainbow that we're bringing in through this conscious leadership or this conscious course. So the first 4 weeks are your personal trash can, and then we will transition, and it still flows. So if you want to stay within your personal trash can for the last 4 weeks, it's just expanding it to how do I lead consciously and how do I co-create this rise up, which is restoring intrinsic source energy to the universal playground. That is the rise up. So you can join our Rainbow Rise Up and connect with us on all of the platforms. If you would like to watch, the past videos are all placed on YouTube. And if you'd like to join the Feargiveness Frequency community on Facebook, we also have so many other ways to connect. But I really want to thank you guys so much for being here today and allowing me to share this color connection with you. I believe I have brought forth everything that was asked of me. Let me just check in and just double check to see if there's anything else. Okay. So meditation, I hear from the first wave of hearts, the first rainbow was meditation is difficult to connect with. And I found the same thing too. My brain was just had too much going on in there to really find a way to connect with meditation. And meditation can be as simple as 5 minutes of just releasing your mind of all thought process. And sometimes it's not even that, it's thanking your mind for bringing those thoughts through you, but you're not going to pay them any forward attention and you allow it to flow through. So a few things that I found was guided meditations really helped kind of bring me into a space sitting within the energy of group meditations. So in the beginning of in the 2020, I found this beautiful group called the Supercharged Sundays, that we would sit within this container of energy with about 10 different people, and we would go through this guided meditation. And it was there that I really found this love for meditation. In color connection and conscious color connection, what I do multiple times a day is I connect with color. So I'll do a color meditation and I'll sit within just, I'll think of a color, I'll wear a color, I'll bring a color near me, I'll grab one of these color cards and just focus on the color, how it makes me feel, what emotions does it invoke for me, and flow into the energy and flow into the color. If I'm sitting by water, water meditations are awesome to put your feet in water and just kind of allow whatever needs to come through to come through. In the forgiveness frequency, when you sit in your center, that's what you're doing. You're breathing that energy from above your head, that source God energy into you. And you're pulling up the divine mother energy from the earth, and she always comes up in rainbows. So you pull up her energy, you ground yourself to the earth, you're connected to the heavens above, and you'll start to feel the energy running through your heart space and running down your spinal column. And when you really sit within that, just giving yourself that time to surrender and just to be, uh, connect with your breath, connect with whatever energy. First, for lately in the current energies, it's really asking us to clear. So the first thing I do every morning when I go out for my barefoot walk, I pick sunrise and sunset because they have a high color connection and a high frequency and vibration. So sunrise, you can stare at the sun without hurting your eyes, and you're getting these gamma rays and these gamma energy that's coming through. And the same thing at sunset. And there's very unique color spectrums that are available in those two times. So when I'm standing barefoot, I drink my water. I look at my phone screen to see what time it is. I'll grab my water. I'll drink my 11 seconds of sips, and that I know will flow through me scientifically in 11 minutes. And then I'll walk outside to my spot, which is facing east, and I will, whether it's right before the sunrise or right after the sun rises, I love both because it seems like the morning birds like to come in right before and after sunrise and right before and after sunset. So I love that additional aspect of having Mother Nature and all the beautiful birds and all the music that they make when they're waking up. I've realized today most of the birds come in from the northeast when they're flying in the morning, except for the geese and ducks. They're always coming from the south. And I don't know exactly where they're going, but they are headed in kind of west to east. They're coming in from the west, going to the east. And then everyone else, all the beautiful birds are coming in from the north to the northeast, it seems like. And so as I stand on the grass, I will ask for my to clear all energy that's not mine. And I do this multiple times a day, especially if I've been interacting on social media, or I've been interacting, or if I leave my home for any reason, or if I'm on a Zoom call or any of those connections. I will really ask daily throughout the day, remove all energy that's not mine. When I lay down for a pain peak or an energy reset, now remove all energy that's not mine. And then I will ask for a clearing, cleansing, purifying, transmutation, and alchemization of my energy bodies, my emotional, mental, etheric, physical, pain, spiritual, plasma, and astral bodies. And I'll ask for a full clearing of those. And in that moment, it's just kind of a moment of 0 point where I just allow the energy to be released back into the divine Father and Mother, to be transmuted back into light. And then you'll get this sense of peace that comes over you when that's completed. I will also ask to clear all of my energy centers. So my chakra centers, my energy light nodes, the 144 light nodes or acupuncture points. I'll ask to clear all of my horizontal and vertical energy fields and shields. So my aura, my etheric field, my tortal fields. So really bringing that clearing all the way out to my 8 feet and really clearing the space. And if I need to extend it even further, I'll do that. And then once that clearing has happened, and Yogananda talks about it a lot, it's just throwing your cloak of unworthiness or lower vibrations and frequencies into the fire. And when you do this, it just allows your body to remove anything that isn't yours, anything lower vibrations that no longer serve you, or frequencies. And it allows you to be in this beautiful 0 point. And once you fully kind of released it all, clear, cleansed, alchemized, transmuted it all, then you fill it back up by calling your energy back unto you. And when you do this, oh my goodness, it is just like you're calling that energy back to you from any person, place, thing, or situation that you have allowed it to flow. And you leave love and gratitude in its wake. So no matter the situation, good, bad, or indifferent, you are exiting that karma, that connection, that cord, or that contract with them, and you're leaving love and gratitude in your wake, but you're calling your energy back into you. And when you do that, that energy will fill you up, but not completely. So then we ask for us to be filled in the space in between with love and gratitude and divine universal light. And by doing that, you are just allowing all that is here to serve you, bring in all of these colors to fill in all the space in between. And then once you've really done that, you're kind of walking on a new, flowing on this new vibration. And that's a great opportunity for you to start your day. So whether you are calling in your spirit guides to help guide you throughout the day, to help guide your every word, thought, action, reaction, inspired action, and every emotional flex and flow, you can ask any of those things from your team, and just ask them to, I just ask to wrap me in a hug. And hugs are healing, universally guided. So wrap me in a hug and guide my every word, thought, action, reaction, inspired action, and emotional flux and flow that's going to come into my world today. And thank them, give them thanks. So it's really just this beautiful prayer of connection, and that connects me directly to Source God and the Divine Father and Mother, and through the Akashic records. And I'm just wrapped in this rainbow halo hug. And that's how I start my day, and I get to go about my day in that beautiful hug. So that's meditations, that's clearing. And we're just excited to see you in the next 8 weeks as we embark on this journey together. If you would like to have the daily access or the weekly access to all of the worksheets and stuff that will come along with the Feargiveness Conscious Connection course, please just DM me your email address and I will make sure that those are sent to you. And we'll also have links to those throughout the courses. The courses will be live right here on all of the social media channels at this moment, unless we decide to take them offline based on how many people that we have signed up for it. This will allow anyone to connect. This is going to allow us to create a course that is on this timeline, in this reality, to really help those who want to take this course at their own pace, and to dive in, and maybe they're not fully ready to dump out their trash can, but here is a place and space for them to go, for you to go, and for you to share with others that may have lived in darkness for a while and they're looking for a way out of pain. And if you know of anyone who lives horizontally or lives with a disability, this is a great opportunity for them to have a community to connect with. And I'm here in service to you, to help you to, and to them, to help you guys to connect with your own forgiveness frequency. And again, this is all free. This is for me to be a keeper of, to guide it back into this present moment, to be able to work out all the kinks with the divine realms and all of the beautiful leaders and hearts that have helped us create this up until this point. So I'm excited for you guys to have the opportunity to really bring your own forgiveness frequencies to life. And then you add to the whole, which will be really exciting. So I am losing my voice and it works out perfectly, timing. So thank you so much for this conscious color connection of the forgiveness frequency. And who knows what next week brings. So we'll see what I'm divinely guided to do. I'm pretty sure there'll be an activation or a meditation because I really like doing those. I'm just running short on energy and time today. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will see you on the other side of this rainbow.